Starting. Okay, we're live again. Okay, so
Yay.
let's just start. Let's just start from another angle, I guess. Okay, so just yeah. So like let's just start from. I know we can continue the past conversation, but you talked about a point in my life which I can look back to. Was there like any point in your life that you could look back to?
Mm. I mean, I can tell you what was kind of my big, like, my body was screaming at me. And that was when I think I realized. So
Mm,
looking back, there were years I ignored symptoms and things going on with my body. Um, so
mm,
COVID was kind of a tipping point. Gym, we were closed,
mm,
for a few months, of course, during COVID.
mm,
And I was waking up with, pain in my hands, and it was an indescribable pain, like, as a nurse, especially, I would ask, "Can you describe the
mm,
pain? Is it sharp or dull or icky or whatever?" And I couldn't,
mm,
like, I couldn't put one term, pain that I was having, and sometimes it was okay, sometimes, I would wake up with it and it'd be pretty bad, and then sometimes it'd get better throughout the day, like, it was really weird, but didn't think too much about that. And then
mm,
it was, uh, Memorial Day here in this state, so end of May,
mm,
of 2020, and we were out with some friends having pizza, and, um, I was on, like, my 2nd piece of pizza, and I had the worst stomach pain. I was I felt awful, it was painful, I was bloated, yeah, like, I had no idea what was going on,
mm,
but I think my husband saw the look on my face, and I was like, "We gotta go, like, something is wrong here."
mm,
So, went home, all I could kinda curl up in a ball, on the couch, um, and then the next day, it was a lot better, got better a little bit the next day, and so I thought,
mm,
like, kind of my nursing brain kicking my nursing brain into go
mm,
mode, I was like, "I think this is a gluten intolerance." And so I cut out gluten then that following week and, like, felt amazing. So I thought, "Okay, like, that's probably, all I needed to do." So that was a big wake up call
mm,
for me, but then it wasn't until August of that year when I was still experiencing the pain in my hands, and finally decided
mm,
that I needed to see somebody, and I I decided to go the functional medicine route instead of traditional
mhm,
medicine, I think because I knew that again, from my nursing background, I was like,
mhm,
I think they're probably gonna, like, tell me or something and give me something for it and call it a day, you know? So I wanted to get to the root, and then once I got
mm,
that diagnosis of this and then dealing with, what we know now was probably celiac as well, like, that was probably
mm,
you know, my wake up call. There may not have been, like, one
mm.
exact moment then in that, but I think just hearing those
Yeah.
words and knowing, like, what my labs looked like, I was a mess. Yeah, I was
Mm,
an absolute, I was an absolute mess. And like I said, looking
yeah.
back, I had been, for
Yeah.
years, and yeah,
Mm,
I just wasn't listening.
mm.
Um, so with
Yeah.
your with your journey, 'cause
Yeah.
we
Go on.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Mm. No, go
We
ahead. Go
talked
ahead.
about the
Go
ups
ahead. Go
and
ahead.
downs.
Yeah.
We talked about the ups and downs and
Mm,
everything.
mm,
Is there one thing that you kind
mm,
of like that you do every day? Is there a daily habit that you've implemented or anything that you practice? Maybe it's not every day,
mm,
but that you do try to stick to really, help
mhm.
you?
I don't think that there is one thing specifically that I do that could maybe drastic change in my life happened. It's almost 2 months now. 2 months ago, I moved away from on my own. Now that has helped me a lot. Now, I'm not here to like blame anyone that I obviously it had a lot to do with the environment, but I'm not saying this is anyone's fault or something like that. But ever since I moved out on my own, I mean, I still have my roommate. I'm living with him, but now I sort of make all the choices on my own. So it's not really one thing. It's I started journaling 4 months ago. Maybe that it is. I didn't resume. The social circle is not not because I am around those people. It's because I chose them. So in
Mhm.
all of those bits and pieces add up to change my life. I mean, it's just everything is like I have moods, right? There are certain triggers that I still have to address. That's why, you know, it's not like based on one thing only. It's like a mixture of all those things. So yeah.
Yeah, 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 and that support system is huge, I think,
Mm,
like, that's another thing I've learned, not necessarily personally for me,
mm,
but just being in the that I am, especially with women with PCOS. I'm part of some groups, like, on Facebook, for example, and,
mm.
um, the negativity, can be draining, like, one woman posts about something,
Oh,
about
yeah.
how this sucks and this is awful and I'm dealing with all this, and then everybody, like, kinda chimes in, and it's unfortunate because then that's affecting what's
Mm,
what's going on up here, right? And that can yeah.
mm,
And sometimes you do have to do the hard and set up boundaries around some of those people that are not serving you or
mm,
helping you in your life, and those might be important people to you, right? I mean, that's probably a big part of
mm.
it.
Uh, Also, I think that negative things have a stronger effect of people tend to feed fast on the negative things in life rather than the positive. That's why I really believe that you could be in a negative environment naturally, but in order to be in a positive environment, you have to create it. It does not exist. I think because negative, not just social media, is negative, right? Now, that mindful choosing of where you want to sit, who you want to be around, that is something that you have to create. And you were talking about things that help me leaving an environment that was like that fed on negativity, leaving that and choosing my circle. I don't have like 10 friends that are just there, maybe two or three friends that actually has some positives in my life. So I think that that is actually one of the strongest things to have a circle that supports you, and you cannot have that circle naturally always. You mostly have to like create it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's an important point because I don't know, I think people try to maybe validate their experience and, to be surrounded by all these people
Mm,
that are sharing maybe even a piece of their experience or what they're going through, but you don't need all those
mm.
people, right? You just maybe need 1 or 2 even, to call on, and they don't
Yeah.
have to be going through what you're going through, but just somebody to be that support, that ear to listen and help make help you understand, and kinda setting up those
Mm,
boundaries sometimes with, maybe even, like, with your family or friends. Like, if you start like, in my world, I talk to women about, okay, if they're realizing that they need an earlier bedtime, but their husband wants to stay up and watch
mhm,
watch TV or, something like that, like, they need to have
yeah,
that conversation, you know, with him and say, like,
mm,
"This is what is going to help me. This is gonna strengthen me and maybe even contribute to making our relationship better is if you
mhm,
understand that I can get to bed at a certain time or whatever, or
mm,
if it's going out to eat and they whatever it might be. There could be a number of things, obviously, but just having those difficult conversations sometimes even with the loved ones to
mm,
help them understand what's going on. But then outside of that, yeah, it
like,
doesn't have to be a
mm,
big circle.
mm. So, uh, I if you read me right because your video kind of froze. So, uh, I realized I actually observed this that the communication sort of part in relationships was absent in the older generations, like compared to now. When I look at my my parents or my uncles or like everyone else in my family, there is a big communication gap, not between necessarily the children and the parents, but like in between the partners, which surprisingly is treated as this is how it has always been, right? Rather, it should be like this is how it has always been, but it should not stay the same, right? Now, obviously, they have spent most of their lives together, and it has been going on for maybe a decade or 2 decades. So you cannot expect them to recreate that pattern from the core and just change it all around. But what I aim to do in my relationships, not necessarily with my partner, even with my parents or my peers or whatever, is to sort of have those difficult conversations. When I was, uh, it was natural to hide behind a mask, if you could say, like
Mhm.
totally ignore that, right? But now, as I move forward, I try to have that difficult conversation, which is never ever easy, right? It never gets easier, to be very honest.
No, no, really, yeah. I mean, it really doesn't. And that's a great point too, because yeah, there are
Mm,
some differences in generations,
mm,
and how your mom and dad were raised compared to, you know, yeah, how we're raised now and
mm,
just the life that we're in now, right? With all, with social media and all these other things, of course. Yeah, of course, going on.
yeah.
And I think even just like
Mm,
the traditional roles of things and all of that too. So that all kind of plays a part in it.
mm.
Cool. Well, there you go. You were frozen there for a second.
Yeah. I guess we only have 8 minutes left, and we are also like experiencing this technical difficulties. I think how about we end the first session was on another level, I would say. There I'm pretty sure that we could get some plus out of it. But their time is up. We're having
Mhm.
some difficulties, so I think that we should like end it up. If you want to like ask a maybe a closing question, otherwise we could end it right here.
Ooh. Um, what advice would you give to anybody
Hmm,
that
hmm,
is struggling and feels stuck um, with no with
hmm,
anything? They feel stuck and
hmm.
they feel like they've tried everything. This could be mentally, physically, whatever they're going through. What kind of advice would you give to that person?
Uh, I I think that as humans, there will always be a time where it feels like too much, when you feel like giving up, when you feel like nothing is going your way. And there's this always this code. It inevitably comes on every one of my lives. That I say that does not matter how hard the journey feels like, no matter how big the obstacle in front of you looks like, the time will pass. pass. There's this saying, like, is this too shall pass. The good things, the bad things, everything actually in life is temporary. So no matter how many times where you feel like this is getting hard, but I promise you that you will get through it, and you just need to have the not exactly the resources, but the mindset or the people to support you to get through it because you will get through it, right? So yeah, that's pretty much my advice.
Yeah, love that.
Mhm.
Awesome. Do we wanna end it there?
So I guess that since we are sorry, yeah, yeah, we should. I guess. Okay. So basically, it was really nice talking to you, and I hope we the next time we do this, we have less of the technical problems and have more of a conversation.
I
Although it was
know. Yes. Yes, I agree.
Mhm.
But yes, we should definitely try it again and without all the technical difficulties, so but thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.